The drama surrounding Shedeur Sanders has now erupted into a story that is far bigger than football, larger than the confines of sports, and more seismic than even the most optimistic projections could have imagined. In less than 24 hours, a simple Nike shirt emblazoned with Sanders' personal logo generated an earth-shattering $70 million in sales. To put that into perspective, this wasn't just another successful endorsement rollout, the type of launch we've come to expect from Nike after decades of dominating the athletic market. This was an event, a cultural earthquake that sent shockwaves through every corner of the sports, fashion, and entertainment industries. Witnesses compared the scenes to the chaos of Michael Jordan's sneaker releases during the height of the Chicago Bulls dynasty. Servers crashed, inventories vanished, and retail staff scrambled to contain scenes of pandemonium that spilled into city streets. Customers lined up for hours before sunrise, stretching across multiple city blocks, while police officers and security personnel attempted to maintain order. Store managers were forced to adopt lottery systems, imposing strict purchase limits in an effort to manage demand. And even then, shipments were exhausted within 90 minutes. The comparisons to sneaker culture or console launches felt inadequate. This was something new, a phenomenon that redefined the boundaries of athlete-driven commerce. Inside Nike's Beaverton headquarters, executives scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were convened as digital teams fought desperately to prevent their infrastructure from collapsing under the strain of an 847% surge in traffic within the first minute of launch. Payment systems buckled, customer service departments were flooded with complaints, and fulfillment centers found themselves buried beneath an avalanche of orders. Analysts who had studied merchandise patterns for years admitted they had never seen anything like it. Veteran executives whispered among themselves that this single product drop eclipsed every NFL rookie merchandise launch ever recorded, including those tied to the most iconic generational stars in the league's history. Yet numbers alone failed to capture the essence of what unfolded. What made this launch unlike any other was the cultural penetration. The Sanders shirt was not purchased solely by die-hard football fans or regional supporters. Fashion influencers snapped them up as status symbols. Musicians flaunted their acquisitions. Across social media, international buyers deployed reshipping services to circumvent geographic restrictions. The logo shirt ceased to be mere athletic apparel. It became a statement piece, a symbol of cultural alignment, and a badge of belonging to a moment that felt historic. The demographics alone tell a striking story. Reports revealed that younger consumers dominated digital purchases, while older buyers stood in lines outside physical retail stores. Surprisingly, gender distribution was nearly balanced, shattering the old assumption that NFL merchandise appeals predominantly to men. And globally, the response was extraordinary. European divisions reported demand at levels unheard of for American football apparel. Asia and the Middle East clamored for shipments. South American distributors spoke of sellout speeds surpassing even the most feverish soccer releases. Sanders, before even stepping into his professional prime, had vaulted himself from promising quarterback into global icon territory. For Nike, the implications are staggering. Conservative estimates place the total investment in Sanders, endorsement guarantees, marketing campaigns, product development, into 9-figure territory. That gamble has already been justified, and insiders now project the creation of what they describe as a billion-dollar Sanders economy within 3 years. This is not a marketing fad. This is brand architecture being built in real time, a foundation that could sustain itself for decades if nurtured properly. Rival companies are terrified. At Adidas, Under Armour, and New Balance, executives convened emergency meetings of their own. They dissected every element of Nike's campaign, from digital strategy to demographic targeting, scrambling to identify whether they had overlooked athletes with comparable crossover appeal. Analysts admitted bluntly that Nike hadn't just launched a product, they had rewritten the rulebook. One senior executive put it best in an unguarded moment. "We're all playing catch-up now." Central to all of this is Shedeur Sanders himself. Unlike many athletes whose commercial success feels manufactured, Sanders' appeal stems from a kind of authenticity that cannot be fabricated. His social media presence is organic and unfiltered, his style distinctive without being contrived. and his confidence natural rather than performative. Consumers sense that they are not being sold an artificial narrative. They are witnessing someone who simply embodies charisma in the modern age. The digital data underscores this truth. Within hours of launch, TikTok videos featuring his merchandise generated 47 million views. Instagram posts tied to the drop showed engagement rates 3 times higher than Nike's typical content. Twitter trended worldwide. YouTube unboxings accumulated millions of views within days. The amplification was organic, dwarfing even the reach of Nike's paid marketing campaigns. What Sanders represents goes beyond a simple sales spike. His story is one of convergence. Athletic excellence fused with cultural fluency, legacy merged with individuality, privilege balanced with drive. He is the son of Deion Primetime Sanders, one of football's most electrifying legends, yet he is not trapped in his father's shadow. Instead, he builds his own identity, one that speaks directly to younger consumers who see in him a reflection of their own duality. Confidence without arrogance, success coupled with self-awareness, a sense of belonging to both sport and culture at once. The ripple effects extend far beyond Nike's bottom line. Universities now recognize that recruiting is not just about athletic skill, but also about marketability. High school athletes are learning that brand building can begin as early as their teenage years. Agents are recalibrating how they negotiate contracts, factoring in not just performance, but multimedia potential. And rivals in the industry are frantically reevaluating the metrics by which they identify future stars. But the weight of such rapid ascent cannot be ignored. With every new benchmark set, the pressure on Shedeur Sanders intensifies. Every game, every appearance, every post is scrutinized through a commercial lens. Authenticity must be preserved even as corporate obligations grow. Athletic performance must match the towering cultural influence. Sanders wears this responsibility with an ease that impresses seasoned observers, yet even the most confident exterior cannot fully mask the enormity of the burden. He is no longer just an athlete, he is a brand ecosystem, a cultural movement, and a symbol of generational transformation. Nike, meanwhile, is already preparing the next wave. Expanded product lines are in development. International exclusives are being mapped. Collaborations with luxury fashion houses and pop-up experiences in major cities are on the horizon. Digital innovation, including NFT integrations and interactive online campaigns, is under discussion. What began as a shirt could soon expand into a full global lifestyle empire. The infrastructure is mobilizing quickly, and with it, the certainty that the Sanders phenomenon is not merely a flash in the pan, but the beginning of something enduring. To put this in context, think of the rare athletes who have permanently altered the cultural landscape. Michael Jordan reshaping basketball and sneakers, Tiger Woods revolutionizing golf, Serena Williams transcending tennis into fashion and activism. Each of them transformed their sport and expanded its reach into new demographics and new industries. The question now is whether Shedeur Sanders can become football's equivalent figure, a generational icon whose influence stretches beyond the field into the very fabric of global culture. The numbers suggest it is possible. The cultural resonance suggests it is inevitable. And the urgency with which competitors are reacting suggests they know they are already behind. What remains to be seen is how Sanders himself manages this balance between athletic performance and cultural leadership. The trajectory may be limitless, but sustaining momentum requires consistency, discipline, and resilience. If the foundation built on this $70 million launch holds firm, then what we are witnessing is not just a sales record, but the dawn of a new era, and that is where the suspense lies. Can Nike avoid oversaturation? Can Sanders continue to deliver on the field while expanding off it? Can competitors craft meaningful responses, or will they always be chasing the shadow of this moment? These questions hang in the air, unanswered, fueling anticipation for what comes next.